training session. What's the purpose of this training session? Well, one of the reasons we're having it is to find out what Proctorio is. Um, so let me give you a little blurb of what they say that they are. The Proctorio is a remote proctoring service that creates a level playing field for all test takers. With Proctorio, students are sure that they are getting the grades they have earned. Proctorio upholds exam integrity and gives institutions and employers confidence in online degrees. So that's sort of in a nutshell what Proctorio is. That sort of sounds like a sales pitch, of course. But what is Proctorio to us here at UNCP? Well, it's going to be a basic browser lockdown, or we're going to be able to lock down the browser for the students when they're taking a proctored test. So another thing that we're here today to do for this training session is to learn how to use basic functions of Proctorio. And that's all we really want to do is learn how to use the basic functions because Proctorio, with their support, as you will see, they have a lot of support and a lot of the support that they have has videos with it. So you can get as deep into this thing as you want to, but we're just going to cover the basic functions of Proctorio today. So, so let's talk about some how-tos or some best practices. And I have 9 of them, so we're going to go through these things real quick, but at the same time, each one is going to come along with a demonstration. So one of the very first things that you need to know or need to have or need to know how to do is to you need to know how to always use the Chrome web browser when interacting with the Proctorio enabled exam. So if you look at the bottom of my screen here, you can see that I have a Chrome icon in my system tray. That's one way that I can launch Chrome, the Chrome browser if I wanted to. And another way is to be able to go to I'm gonna switch over real quick and I'm hoping this follows with me. Can you see my Google page?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure it's switching with me. Another way that you can launch or download the browser to your computer. Like I said, one of the most important things is that you have to work within Chrome web browser is to go to your URL box here and you want to put in google.com/Chrome. Once again, that's google.com/Chrome. When I hit enter on that, it's going to take me to a web page, a Google Chrome web page that will allow me to download the Chrome browser to my computer. That's an important thing that we need. That's one of the first things of best practice that we need to make sure we know how to do is to download or make sure that we're using a Chrome web browser. I'm pretty sure majority of the university computers already have a Chrome browser on them. Just wanted to make sure that you know that you have to use a Chrome web browser. So the second thing that we want to be able to do, we want to know how to make sure that we have a Proctorio Chrome extension installed. We need to make sure that we have a Proctorio Chrome extension installed. Like I said, this is going to be how-tos or demonstrations. So let me demonstrate that for you real quick. How do I know that I got a Proctorio Chrome extension installed? The only way that I know how to do it, and the way that my friend Wes Frazier showed me how to do it, is to go to my URL box again in my browser, and I want to type getproctorio.com. Getproctorio.com, as you can see right here. Getproctorio.com. All right, so when I hit enter on that, it automatically checks to see that I'm using, as you can tell, it's checked to see that I'm using Google Chrome, right? Second thing it's doing is installing the Proctorio Chrome extension. Proctorio Chrome extension. How do I know that how do I know it's been installed? you look to your top right, you will see a gray shield with a line through it right here. Okay? That's the number 2 thing, is to make sure that you have that Proctorio Chrome extension installed. The way we do that, once again, is we go to a browser box, and it should be in Google, in the URL box right here. Type in getproctorio.com, hit enter, and then it will automatically install for you.
You can also check. I mean, you can do it that way, and where the 3 vertical dots are in Chrome, you can scroll down and see your extensions that way. But this is probably the superior way to do it.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easier than try to search for it, because if you don't put it in there exactly the way it's labeled, you won't find it.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of the easiest way that I felt that it was able to do it. So getproctorio.com is the best practice number 2. Make sure that you have that Proctorio extension. So the third thing we want to know how to do, or the third best practice, is so when you're in your course page in Canvas, you want to be able to access 24/7 live chat for any questions that you may have. So you want to be able to access the 24/7 live chat. That's a very good practice for you to have. So how are we going to do that? Let me demonstrate it to you. So you want to go ahead and go into your Canvas course. Go into your Canvas course. My Canvas course here, as you can see, it was set up for me to do it. It's Proctorio-0002. That's my course, right? That's the course that I'm teaching, or that I am an instructor in. So once I'm in that course, and I should be able to go to the far top right corner, and that shield, or that Proctorio Chrome extension that I just installed one step earlier, I should be able to click on that shield, and the dialog box pop up. Right? What we're trying to do again, we're trying to access our 24/7 live chat. So that dialog box pops up, and here we have 2 options down here. One option is live chat. So let me click on that and see what happens. So as I click on it, let it work. And the bottom left corner, a live chat box will open up. And you can type what you want, whatever question you have as an instructor or as a faculty member about Proctorio. You can ask it in this chat box, hit the send message button, and then give them time to answer that question. How do I know? Today it took about 30 minutes for them, 20 to 30 minutes for them to answer a question that I had. And I'll explain it to you a little later down in the list. A question that I asked them, it came back about 20 to 30 minutes. So that's one way. Once again, let me do it again. To access the 24/7 live chat in Proctorio, to the top right-hand corner, once you're in your course, right, the course that you're teaching, one of the courses that you're teaching, top right corner, hit the gray shield, dialog box pops up, you have live chat, right? I've already got it. I'll hit it again to see what it does. It should just pop back up again, but it doesn't because it's already here. Well, there it is. Okay. So it pops up. So how do I get that out of the way to be able to work? I hit this arrow down, and it puts a chat icon in the bottom left for me to be able to use it anytime in this session that I'm working in Canvas. Now, there's one other thing that I want to show you here. Go back to this gray shield, click on it. There's also something here called Help and Support Center. And when they told me last Monday that I was going to be doing this training session, I called Mr. Frazier. Mr. Frazier said, give me the resources that you have to be able to, so I can put this course together. And he sent me 2 documents. One document had best practices, the stuff that we're going over tonight. The other document had 4 videos on it, 4 demo videos on it. That was it. So now I wish I would have been able to click on this and been able to use the majority of this information, because there's a lot of information here in the Help and Support Center. So I advise that you would click on that and see, it pulls up another screen. Here it is, the Proctorio Support Center. And here you have all these, you have general support, administrator support, professor support, and student support. I'm gonna click on professor support. And as you see here, there's a lot of information in here. Some of these headings have 8 articles, 47 articles. There's a lot of information here. Like I said, this is just a basic, I'm doing just a basic functions type, how-to type session tonight. But if you really want to get deep into Proctorio, this is one way to do it. This is one way to do it. A lot of information right here in this little place. Once again, like I said, it's in the, once you're in your courses, once you're in your course page, it's the gray shield bar there on the top right. All right, go back to the PowerPoint. So I wanted to also show you how to enable Proctorio in your course. So as you can see, this is my course here. My course is called Proctorio-0002, and I'm the instructor in this course. And I want to enable Proctorio so it shows up for me later on when I try to enable it on exams. So what I want to do is I want to scroll down on the left side until I find the word settings. And as you can see here on the very bottom, I have the word settings right here. Settings. I want to click on that word settings. Okay. So when I click on the word settings, I want to look here at the top and find the word navigation. I want to go to the navigation tab within settings in my course. All right. So as I see the word navigation, I see that I have a lot of different items, here in my navigation tab. And if you can, if you really look at them, they're actually the items that are here on the left side, and there's some items in this list that have been enabled that show up in other places within my course. Well, there's two areas in navigation that we need to pay attention to. The first area is this top area here where all these items are that are enabled within my course. And also there is a section where I have items that are not enabled or they are disabled. So as you can see, the reason we're here is because we want to make sure that we have this item right here, Secure Exam Proctor or Proctorio. We want to make sure this item here is in the enabled section or part of navigation. Right now, I have my item, Secure Exam Proctor or Proctorio. It is enabled. It's in the top part of the navigation tab. Versus here, down here, I have items that are disabled. So you'll probably, if you're having problems with trying to enable Proctorio on your exams, it's probably because you have your Proctorio or the Secure Exam Proctor tab is down here in the disabled part. So what you need to do is just grab that tab if it's in the disabled part and just drag it up to the enabled part. See how I'm doing that, how easy that is? Just click on it and grab it and put it into the top section, as I have done already with my tab already. I hope this helps you out here, enabling your Proctorio within your course. Thank you. So now we're looking at number 4. Number 4 how-to, number 4 best practice. And that is setting up Proctorio enabled exams. I think that's what all you guys are here for tonight. Find out how to set up a Proctorio enabled exam. So let me demonstrate that for you. So Proctorio, listen to this. It says that Proctorio integrates directly into the quiz settings page within Canvas. So this is my course once again. I go down to the quizzes settings page. The quizzes that I have installed or that I have loaded onto this course pop up, right? Um, so it's as simple as this. Proctorio can be enabled by simply checking an enable Proctorio checkbox in the quiz settings page. So if I go here and pay specific attention to remotely proctored and secure browser, and notice I have nothing like that here on this finding theme quiz. So we're going to enable Proctorio on this finding theme quiz. I'll go over here to the three dots, click on that, I hit edit. Give it a minute, let it load. Okay. And now that I'm in edit, all I have to do is scroll down to the quiz restrictions right here. And in quiz restrictions, you see it right there. Enable Proctorio Secure Exam Proctor. I want to check that box. Okay. When I check that box, what happened? When I checked that box, there was also an access code that was put into this box up above, right? And notice what it says in there, that Proctorio is managing this password. The reason that is important, I'll explain to you a little bit later. But right now, step 4 was setting up a Proctorio enabled exam. And I'm gonna hit save just to be safe. And if I go back out to my quizzes, okay, go back out to my quizzes where all my exams are at. I now see that I have a secure browser in parentheses on the end, so that lets me know that it was enabled. Now, one thing that I make sure you also do when you enable your exam, you want to make sure you ensure that all Proctorio settings are selected as needed. And one of my defaults, I have a default, and I'll talk to you about that a little later, on my Proctorio exams settings is, let me go back and show you. One of the defaults I have for my settings is a browser lockdown. See how I got that lock? It's blue and it has the little ribbon right there showing it's my default. That's what every time I create an exam, if I want it to lock down the browser to my specific specifications, it will do that because that's my default, my safe profile. So I want to make sure once I enable my Proctorio exam that I make sure that all my settings are selected as needed. And one way to do that is having a default. We'll talk about it a little bit later. So let me go back, make sure you got all that. Like I said, the way I enable a Proctorio exam is I go to over here to the settings or the three dots on the far right side, click those, and I hit edit. Right? When I hit edit, give it a little bit of time to load. I want to scroll down. I want to go to quiz restrictions. And remember, if you remember correctly, quiz restrictions was just three boxes here, and all of them were unchecked. I checked my enable Proctorio secure exam proctor box, and the other stuff executed also. Okay. So that's number 4.
Could we ask questions?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I was raising my hand, but when you enable the Proctorio, does the access load for you? So those that type of password or whatever, is that automatically created for you, or you have to know that somehow already? I don't know. I think I missed that part.
No, you didn't miss it. That and the reason, and if I hadn't studied up on it a little bit, I wouldn't know the answer either. But the reason that happens is, you know, in our old system or the other way that we done proctoring, you know, you had a proctoring coordinator there. You sent through the system, you send them a password, and they're the ones that enter the password in the computer for the student, right? Well, here, your Proctorio Chrome extension is the one that enters that password. So yeah, so what happens is when you enable that exam, like we just did, it automatically generates a access code.
Okay.
And that access code, the students that are in this, the students that have to take this exam, their Proctorio Google extension will enter that password for them, that access code for them. So they're, see how it works? It's sort of just like it was the old system we had where they went to the proctoring center and you had a proctoring coordinator that put the password in for them. Now the proctoring coordinator here on this system is that extension there, Proctorio extension. And excuse me for saying Proctorio, that's not a normal word to me. And it's like I get tripped up every time I say it, but yeah, Proctorio Chrome extension is what it is. Yeah, that's how it works.
And the students will have to have this extension in their Chrome, of course.
Students are going to be exact same thing. They're going to have the they're going to have to use Chrome browser, the extension, and then they'll be able to access the help just like you guys have, just like the faculty have. They'll be able to access the help within a test. I'm not sure why they would need to do that. Which I mean, the browser's locked down, but I mean, still, yeah, that access, that 24/7 access is there.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh yeah. All right, so that was number 4, correctly? Correct. Now, number 5, we've kind of already talked about it here. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. Number 5, how to number 5 or the best practice. This is the 5th best practice to use for Proctorio. Is do not change the exam title once the exam has been created. Read that again. Do not change the exam title once the exam has been created. And this, remember I told you on the 24/7 help where I showed you how you could go there and click the button, hit live chat. Well, this is where I used, I asked them in live chat, I said, why do I not want to change the exam title? And let me read to you the response that I got. They said, if the exam is already published, this might cause connection issues blocking the plugin access. They also said, some of your students might be prompted to enter the access code since the extension cannot enter it for them. So one of the best practices that they're saying, number 5 best practices is do not change the exam title once the exam has been created. And like I said, when you set that exam up and then you go in and enable that exam as a Proctorio enabled exam, and it generates an access code. Well, you really don't pay attention to that, but you do now since I told you about it. But the students won't know. They won't know what's going on, right? They won't know that extension, that Chrome extension, is putting the password in for them. But if you go back and somehow break the link between all that, which could be the exam title, right? If you go back and change the exam title and break that link, something might happen with the connection. There might be an issue there that the extension or the plugin doesn't read correctly, and it might prompt the student for an access code, and they'll be like, I don't even know what you're talking about, right? So number 5 best practice, do not change the exam title once the exam has been created. So it said, like they also said, you can always make an exam copy and modify that title, right? You can make a copy of the exam, then modify that copy. All right, number 6, access the Proctorio gradebook. To access the Proctorio gradebook, the only way you can do that is that if you are using the recording options. The recording options has been enabled. Let me show you what I mean by that. Going back to Canvas. All right, go back up. Way out. I'm back at home I'm at the home screen in my course here, right? I'm the instructor of this course. I want to be able to see the Proctorio gradebook. I go to quizzes. These are all my exams. Now, let me give you a little insider here. Remember, I said you could tell which one the proctor, which exams are have Proctorio enabled on them because you always see a something in parentheses behind the title of the exam. So here we have remotely proctored and secure browser and secure browser. Secure browser, you automatically know what that means, right? You get lockdown browser has been enabled there. Remotely proctored is where the recording options has been enabled. So I'm gonna click on that title of that exam, and to get to the Proctorio gradebook, it's always going to pop up under this speed grader right here. You see it right here to the far right. View Proctorio gradebook. And so all I want to do is click on that. And in the real world, not in a vacuum, but in the real world, there would be exams here of each student, of all the exams where students have taken, and it would show the web pictures, the web view, or the webcam, the actual video of the webcam, right? All that through there, and any instances where the student might have thrown a red flag to the system would be here. Well, I tried to go and take the test, this Elements and Principles of Design test today, and it tried to charge me $5. So I decided not to take the test because of that, right? But like I said, to be able to access the Proctorio gradebook, it's only going to be worth anything to you if you have the recording options enabled. The basic deal that we got going on now here at UNCP is we're going to lock down the browsers, right? So if I lock down the browsers and I go take a look at their gradebook. Let me get back out. I'm sorry. The other exam. I went in and took the exam here, this Crucible Act 1 quiz. And like I said, the Proctorio gradebook always shows up under here, but this is just a browser lockdown type exam. It doesn't have the recording options enabled. I just want to show you the gradebook and show you the difference. It tells you that the exam has been successfully locked down, but there are no results to display. And then it wants to tell you about why there are no video results in the gradebook. So you won't get any video results here because you don't have the video enabled on the browser lockdown. And that is the free version. If you don't already know, when you just lock down the browser, that is the free version. When the student has to pay $5, when the student has to pay $5 per exam, that is the version where you click the recording options, where those recording options have been enabled. So it's $5 per exam, $20 per course, or $100 per lifetime, or for all the exams they would take at UNCP. At our institution, they could pay $100 and not have to pay no more. And you could do that by credit card or Bitcoin, believe it or not. But I didn't do that. But all that to say this: to access the Proctorio gradebook, the only way you can do that, it's only going to be accessible when you have the recording options enabled. And I was not able to do that, but I have some other resources at the bottom of this PowerPoint slide you have access to. In those resources, you will be able to see a video where it explains it a whole lot better than what I've done.
Can we ask a question?
Yes.
So that great book, that Proctorio great book, it's only going to have the recordings if there was money paid, but the grade still goes into our grade book, right? When we go to the speed grade or when we go to our grade book, we still see the grades that students made in the quiz, right? I mean, the actual quantity of the numbers.
That's a good question. Wes, can you answer that question? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. So yeah, the charge is only for the usage of the webcam.
Mhm,
It's part of the Proctorio test.
mhm.
Only the webcam data is part of that Proctorio gradebook.
Okay.
The otherwise, it is still a native Canvas exam. So all the questions, the answers, the responses, those are all encoded in Canvas in your normal gradebook and the normal speed grader, just like a normal quiz.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Can I have see, I don't really knew about the differences in between locking the web browser or paying. So for the recorder sessions, the students are paying for that, right? It's not the university paying for them, right?
As of today, is the students paying for it? And the way Proctorio's business model works, right, is that they're providing the basic locking down the browser to our university for free. But anything with the webcam, they're kind of equating that to like sending a student to a proctoring center. And just like a proctoring center might charge a student, Proctorio is going to charge that student. Now, there is some discussion of buying a limited number of licenses for finals this semester.
Mhm.
Dr. Billingsley and is working on that, but until we have licenses, that's what it's going to be like.
Okay. And the lockdown, what doesn't let the students navigate away from that browser, right? They're taking the quiz and they cannot really get out and Google.
It has actually a bunch of features that you can turn on and off, and that's one of them.
Okay.
Gene might be getting to that here in a
Yeah,
little bit.
we're getting that
Yeah,
next.
yeah, I'm just not familiar. Well, of course, there is always the phone, right? And that we cannot control. Anyway, thank you.
So number seven best practice or how to is when creating an exam with Proctorio enabled. With the Proctorio enabled, we want to do two or three things. We want to do two things. When creating an exam with a Proctorio enabled, first thing we want to do is set a time limit. So let me demonstrate that for you. So when we are creating an exam with Proctorio enabled, we want to set a time limit. So let's go down here to our finding theme quiz, the one that was enabled earlier. And we want to look at the exam details. So I'll stay on this page here, right? So I scroll down until I see the option of time limit, right? We want to set a time limit for Proctorio enabled exams. Okay. So here the time limit is 60 minutes. Second thing we want to do when creating an exam with Proctorio enabled, we want to select your Proctorio settings. So here we go to, we had details. Now we want to go to the Proctorio settings. All right. So here's where we'll talk about some of those settings. Once again, let me. You have three things here. Yes, save profiles, Proctorio exam settings, and Proctorio behavior settings. Like I said, this is a basic, so I'm gonna try to be as basic as I can. Um, we want to make sure that we have our selected Proctorio settings correctly. Within the Proctorio settings, you have the recording options, lockdown options, and you see these things that we have here, right? The only one that is free, the only free option you have is this lockdown option, which locks down the browser. All right, let me go back. What we're doing here, once again, we are creating an exam with Proctorio enabled. We set our time limit, right? That's the best practice. The second thing that we want to do is select our Proctorio settings. Okay. In our Proctorio exam settings, the only one that is free option, the free option is lockdown option. All right, notice here that there's a question mark behind lockdown option. I'm gonna click this question mark real quick and show you what it does. It goes to that Proctorio support center that we talked about earlier. Remember I told you when Proctorio has help or support, they always have videos to help with it. So here's a video that talks about these lockdown options. Okay, so remember that when you're inside here and there's nobody with you but you, and you're trying to set up your exam, trying to figure out what settings you want for your exam. Um, Remember these question marks. Right? So the free option once again is lockdown option, and just for just to do it, I selected all of them, the lockdown option. Also, when you select all the lockdown options, that is the secure browser, in parentheses behind your exam title, a page earlier that we talked about a little bit earlier. You see here, if you when you scroll over each one of these, it will tell you at the very bottom, down there at the very bottom of my screen, it says force full screen prevents access to other applications or websites during the exam. Every time you scroll over, it tells you exactly what it is at the very bottom. Right? And also, it also has a question mark that you can click on. Right? When I scroll over only one screen, it says only one screen prevents notes or unauthorized materials to be hidden on a second screen. Right? And you can do that with each and every one of these options here. Once again, lockdown options are the free options that we've been talking about. I've been saying that is the secure browser. These are the free options. And you can, like I said, you can click on each and every one of them, and it will tell you what it's about. And not only that, if you go and hit the question mark, you can pretty much get a support, a professor support help for that. Okay. Let me go back out of lockdown options. Once again, what I'm trying to do is I've enabled my Proctorio enabled exam. I've created it. I set the time limit, and now I'm just setting Proctorio settings. Here's the recording options. Once again, like I said, this is where you students have to start paying for. We'll pay the $5. Any options outside of the lockdown options will be where they have to pay. Once again, like I said, each and every one of these options, it tells you what it is at the very bottom, and it has a question mark that you can go to the product professor support and get help for each one of those. I won't. It'll take me forever to go through each and every one of these. Just a little bit of homework, just a little bit of looking over here. It'll take you long to figure out how you want to set your exams up. And once you do that, then you'll be able to save that setting and name it whatever you want, and it'll be saved up here in the save profiles box up here. Okay.
In your lockdown, which ones you have? Or can you, or you have to choose which ones? I mean, can you choose?
Yeah, you click as many as you want or as least as you want.
And in your settings right now, what do you have?
I got all of them that are blue have been checked. I checked all of them. Okay. And I tell you what, I went and tried to take this exam here, right? And once I clicked on begin quiz, you know how it says start quiz. You click on that, and it starts. The exam talked to me about all the things that were restricted. So it'll give the students a list of all the things that are restricted. It'll say that only one screen. It'll say no new tabs. It'll say all these things there. It'll be a long list of things for students that they cannot do. When I went and tried to take the test that had the when I tried to take the recording options test, one of the first things, one of the things it done, it checked for at least 2 gigs of RAM. It wanted to know if I had 2 gigs of RAM available. It checked for that. It checked on my battery power, making sure that I had enough of battery to make it all the way through the test. And it recommended that I would plug in my computer to make sure I had enough of battery power. These are all the things that happens before that students ever take a test. And also in the recording options, it also checked, it done a systems diagnostic for a webcam. It checked for a webcam, and when it checked and seen that it had a red webcam, it turned green. And it also checked for internet connectivity. connectivity. I'm sorry, connectivity, and it also checked for that and made sure I had good connection. So it checks for multiple things in each one of them to make sure that you'll be able to complete this exam.
So even if we got a few licenses for the finals, this pay option that allows recording, a lot of our students are not going to be able to do it because they're not going to have computers with 2 gigas and this and that. I mean, maybe, the hardware is going to come in the way.
You're correct about that. That I found that very astonishing when I seen that. I said, "Oh my goodness," because my computer is probably I got a MacBook Pro is probably 2 years old, and it was telling me that I didn't have 2 gigs of available space. That I needed to close some of my programs and stuff. So I had to go back and close programs and stuff to be able to get my 2 gigs. So yeah, there's going to be some obstacles there. And that's the reason I wanted to share that with you. So that was number 7. Number 7 actually goes into number 8, and we're getting close to the end here. Number 8, which we're talking about Proctorio exam settings, and like I said, listen to this. It says that Proctorio exam settings are flexible and can meet any exam environment. These settings allow the instructor to determine what activity will be recorded and which actions will be prevented through the built-in secure browser. And I will say this, that I did it on purpose when I was in the lockdown browser. I tried to open up another tab and it would not allow me to do that. And then I tried to open up another program. And as soon as I clicked on Microsoft PowerPoint. And as soon as PowerPoint started, as soon as I seen the PowerPoint screen, I also seen a screen that said you have just now finished this exam. I mean, it kicked me out of the exam as soon as I done that. So that lockdown browser is the real thing, But so number 8, I think we've talked about the exam settings enough. Like I said, if you have any other questions, all you got to do is just hover over the detail or the icon, and it'll tell you what it is. And then also there's a blue question mark at the top right corner of that. And then number 9 is talking about saved profiles. And I kind of alluded to that already. To save a profile, I pretty much go down here and pick what profile I want. And in this case, I got the lockdown options. And in this one here, I think, let's see which one finding things. I've already in this profile that I saved, I've already made it the default for this profile. Now, if I wanted to hit edit, well, it just changes the name and the icon. And I can also get rid of that profile. But okay, so that's saving a profile. Earlier when I saved it, it was right down at the bottom. There's a lot of options with Proctorio, and we'll be here all night for me trying to explain all this stuff. I couldn't explain all of it, to be honest with you, but just trying to find. There's a button that I've collapsed everything to where I can't see my button now. But there's a button that actually allows you to be able to save the default settings. And I'll be honest with you, if I were to do that, if I was had a lot of exams that I was going to put Proctorio on, I would save my profile, and once you do it one time, you always know what you have in. So,
That save button that we're seeing on your screen that you hit, or is that to save something in the quiz?
another little, I can't find it right now. For some reason, it's not coming up. I knew some of my stuff would be like this. And I tried to have it set up so when you guys were looking at it, it would it would make sense. But it's very simple. Once you enable your once you enable the secure Proctor default profile, the settings will automatically be added. So this default profile right here will be added to all my exams unless I go in there and change it. Either to this one here or to whatever other settings I decide to change it to. But that was number 9. So really, from here on out, let's talk about some specific support information for you guys, for the faculty. One specific support information on one group we want you to be able to get up with is Do It Help Desk. You see the number here, you see the email address, and you want to direct all Proctorio technical questions to Do It. When you have proctoring questions that are non-technical, this Ginger Sampson, this Kanisha Hunter at ORI, which is the Office of Regional Initiatives, they're over the proctoring services for the university. If you have questions for them, you see their numbers here, and you also see their email address that they take questions there at. So some other resources that I talked to you about. This session has been recorded, and it is being recorded, and we will have this on our website at the Office of Online Learning website up under resources for faculty and staff. Always that Proctor support, professor support site on Proctorio website. That's the link there. If you can't get to it through that link, go and go through your Canvas and hit that gray shield, and you should be able to get through it through there. The best practices for instructors. I think you guys already have that sheet there. If not, that's the link. Also, the videos I talked to you about earlier, Proctorio videos that was given to me as a resource. There's 4 videos on that link, and the the faculty how-tos and the student how-tos are 2 documents that I put together. And really, all the faculty how-tos is just an expanded version of my notes added onto the best practices for instructors. And some of those how-tos are some videos that you'll be able to YouTube, go to YouTube and use. And I knew you guys would need a sheet to maybe give to your students that would help outside of the student support. Here's a sheet here with just a basic stuff for the students to go to. And that's it. Dr. Nino, you guys have any questions that I need to see?
There are no questions so far in the box. If you have any questions, please to ask.
A question that is not related to how this works, but the people that are using this, do they report any satisfaction? Do they say, is it worth? I mean, because I'm thinking, well, since they still have a phone, they still have a book. I mean, yeah, that they cannot move around in the computer is probably. So is this making a difference for anyone? Do you get feedback from the faculty that are using it?
I'll share with you. I have some colleagues at the community college level that I think the community college level uses this quite a bit. And I was actually having a conversation with one this past weekend, and they love it. I mean, but it's because when they were talking about it once before, and I was telling them about our system here and how we do it, they said, well, we just lock our browsers down. And I'm like, wow, because that's something that we talked about here before, but we haven't really done it until now.
And I think that works great if you happen to have the students in a room where they have no phones and no access to other things. But now that they're home or they're wherever, they still have access to all these other things that do not really depend on the browser. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think
the timing part helps because you cannot really be spending too much time looking for the information away, right? But yeah. So.
I think your concern is warranted because really, to be honest with you, I was astonished by the recording side. I mean, they got a lot of stipulations that go along with that, but then you can see if you could actually get that working. I mean, it works, but I'm saying if you actually get it to where everything flows with the student having the right hardware to the connectivity to the money, if all those things would fall into place, I think that would be just as good as having somebody stand over their shoulder. I think it would, because what it does is record every single move that they make. I mean, they're sitting right in front of their computer, and anything, depending upon the level of security that you put into that recording, anything can throw a red flag to the system. I mean, you can watch every single action or movement that they make because it records all of that. I think the recorded part is very good software. Like I say, I can see your concerns are warranted. That's for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it already in the canvas that I can access it right now?
Yes, sir. As far as I know, Wes and do have it ready to go in Canvas. You follow those best practices. Make sure you did a Chrome browser and the extension, and you'll be able to see it.
So you're saying the student will also have to use a Chrome, and they will also have to download the extensions before they can do the X.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you disconnect the Proctorio once you've connected it to the exam? Can you take it back?
Yes, and let me get back see if I can. I'll put that to you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Let me go back to my quiz. I know one thing. I know one thing you cannot do. Once someone takes an exam, once someone takes an exam, it's locked. It's locked. So
It's locked for that particular student or the entire exam?
the entire exam. So Proctorio exam setting. Once somebody takes one, so once one person takes the exam, it's locked. See right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took this exam, so it locked that exam, so I can't go in there and change the settings.
And change your setting.
If I'm not correct about that, Wes, make sure you let me know.
Just to add, you're not wrong, but to add some clarity, that's both a Proctorio thing and a Canvas thing. You may notice once a quiz gets a submission by a student, you can no longer add or remove questions either. It's Canvas enforces a level playing field. The test experience has to be the same. Now, that being said, the quiz moderation tools in Canvas do allow you to exclude specific students from the Proctorio requirement. Just like you can give out more exam attempts or extra time using those same moderation tools, you can exclude individual students using those same moderation tools.
So if you do it in Canvas, do you have to do it in Canvas and do it in Proctorio, or you can do it in Canvas and it will apply? The exemptions that you're talking about, do you have to do it two or once?
I'm afraid I don't quite understand the question.
I say right now, if I have two students in my class that I need to give an extended time to them, if I set that extended time in Canvas, will Proctorio pick it up? Or do I have to go to Proctorio and also give them extended time in Proctorio?
No, you don't add any extended time within Proctorio. You would add the extended time in the moderation tool. Because at the end of the day, these are still Canvas exams. You can think about Proctorio as just being a few extra features on top of a regular Canvas exam.
Okay, does it work with Cengage? If I have an exam where students are taking the exam in Cengage and is transferring it into Canvas, do you know if there is anything, or do I have to worry, or it
You'll
will
have
just do it the way it's used to do?
You'll actually have to consult with your Cengage representative on that one.
Okay.
Unfortunately, If it's coming, if your textbook publisher, like Cengage, is bringing over a test as a QT, what we call a QTI, then I would suspect so. But not all textbook publishers do that. A lot of them, the exam is actually externally hosted, and there's no way for Proctorio to interact with those externally hosted exams. So that's going to vary with the textbook publisher, and you'll have to consult with them.
Okay. Thank you.
There are two questions. One of them says, do not see the icons to the right of the web address in Canvas.
See the icons to the right?
That's what the question says. And then the other one is, to install Proctorio on your computer, you have to grant permission to read and change all data from websites?
Yeah, I think so. You're talking about for that extension to be able to read and write. I think that is the case there. Seemed like I remember seeing that somewhere.
Gene, if you don't mind me fielding that last one, I think
Okay, go ahead, bro.
I can speak to that. So in many ways, some of what Proctorio is doing is monitoring all of the web browser activity, and at times even putting in input as if they were the student. So it does require extensive permissions on the browser. That being said, if you actually look at the Proctorio Corporation's website, they have extensive security and government certifications about their data privacy. So it's one of those catch-22s. Yes, they need extensive permissions, but their data privacy stuff tends to be top-notch.
I'm also here. You said if we go to quiz, we should be able to see the icon for Proctorio. Is that it? I'm on Canvas right now in my quiz, and I don't see that button.
You are in the Chrome browser, correct?
Oh, I have to go to Chrome. Okay.
You have to go to you have to go to the Chrome browser and make sure that you have that extension downloaded or installed.
Oh, okay, we have to do the download first before we can see it in the Canvas. Okay.
Like I said, all this the training session, all this stuff has been recorded, and also in the how-tos, the faculty how-tos link that I showed earlier on this website is will show all that too.
Okay.
Yeah, have all those links. That way you better follow along with it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Nino?
Yep. Yeah.
You had one question. Did you get a clarification on it? On that one, the one before the last?